Cody, I came up with your new Top 100 Games theme song.
Oh, great, let's hear it.
All right, here it goes. Some people think that it would be lame sitting around reviewing games. Cody does that and ain't it a shame? Now my friends, it's time for Cody's Top 100 Games. What do you think?
I don't like it.
Ah, he likes it!
Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that didn't care for the recent Ghostbusters remake, not because the cast was mostly female, but because it legitimately sucked. My name is Cody, and today we're continuing with my top 100 games of all time as of August 2016. Today we're going to be taking a look at numbers 50 through 41. All right, folks, we are down to the top 50, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 50 is a game that I known and loved for many years. Big hit with my friends. We did Season 1, Episode 4 was a review of this game. I am talking of Courtier from AEG. Courtier, or Courtier as I like to call it, is a fantastic game. It's kind of area control. It's really kind of a card game, but what you're doing is attempting to influence a royal court, kind of this fictional Renaissance court, and you need to fulfill these different cards, plots that you require certain government ministers and different people in government. Courtiers, you might say. So you place cubes, and whoever has the majority of cubes next to the specific courtier, you can use them to influence the queen to help you get your plots taken care of. Tremendously fun game. Area control, as I say, card game. Dirty tricks you can play on people. Plays, I think, 3 to 4 players. You can do it with 2, but there's some funky rules, but 3 to 4 is the way to go. Really love Courtier from AEG. This is part of the Tempest series of games. All of them are fun, some more than others, but really enjoy them, and I really enjoy Courtier. Again, that is my number 50, and last year it was number 50. My number 49 is a game that fell just a couple of spaces. This is a game that I love a lot. When I started to get back into board gaming a few years ago, this was a game that really kind of captured my imagination and really started drawing me back in. I first picked it up, and my friends and I started playing this game a lot. It's really a lot of fun. It's a World War II era war game, and it's also one of the games that really kind of excited my interest in Fantasy Flight games. This is Tide of Iron. Tide of Iron is a brilliant squad-level World War II game. The base game takes place kind of mostly in 1944 when the Germans and the American army were fighting each other in France. There's a lot of expansions. There's a Russian expansion, a Stalingrad expansion, North Africa expansion, a D-Day expansion, and they're all cool, and they all bring something new and fun to the game. Really smart and clever mechanics. Now, Fantasy Flight Games stopped publishing this, and a company called 1A Games picked it up. They put out a new version of the base game as well as the Stalingrad expansion, but last I heard, 1A Games went under. They are no longer publishing it, so now it's kind of in limbo. So here's hoping somebody gets the license for this game again, because it is tremendous, and I really, really want to see more expansions of this game, and I'm sure somebody out there probably will at some point. Tremendously fun game. That is Tide of Iron, originally published by Fantasy Flight Games and then 1A Games, and that is my number 49, was my number 47. My number 48, another game that fell just a couple of spaces this year. This is a party game. Now again, you don't see a whole lot of party games in this list, really just a handful, but there are some that I absolutely love, and this one is no exception. My number 48 is, of course, Cash and Guns. Cash and Guns is tremendously fun. Cash and Guns is a game where you're essentially pointing guns at other people, and yeah, I know some people feel uncomfortable with that. I did initially when I heard the premise, but it's just so silly and so light and fun and intense that that's not really an issue. But you're crooks trying to divvy up the loot, and you're pulling guns on each other. and it's tremendously fun. Played this with a lot of friends. I've never played this game with somebody who didn't like it, and everybody I played it with, has really, really enjoyed it. So that is Cashing Guns. That is published by, I believe, Repros Productions, and that is, of course, Cashing Guns is my number 48. It was my number 46. My number 47 is a game that fell yet another couple of spaces. This is Memoir 44 from Days of Wonder. Memoir 44 is another great kind of light, tactical World War II game. This is probably one of the lightest war games, that I play regularly, that I really, even today, look forward to. This is a commands and colors game. Now, I'll say this, while it's not necessarily my favorite commands and colors game, spoiler alert, it nevertheless is kind of the one I kind of want to play the most, if that makes sense. I think there may be more, at least one more, that has better mechanics. But I don't know. I love the World War II theme. I love how simple to learn and to play this game is, and yet how intense it is, and just how invested in it you become. Memoir 44 just absolutely knocks it out of the park for me every time I play it. Played a game just not too long ago with Zach, and we were just... Man, it was intense, and it was a whole lot of fun. So that is Memoir 44 from Days of Wonder, and that is my number 47, was my number 45. Yet again, another that just fell a few spaces, my 46. This is Washington's War from GMT Games. Washington's War is a great game about the American Revolution. It's a war game, but it's also kind of a political game. It's card-driven, and it feels a lot like Twilight Struggle. It's not entirely like it, of course, but you've got armies, but you're also kind of fighting for the kind of political power in the colonies at this time. It's got some great mechanics. It's got this you never know quite when the game's going to end, because a certain card has to come up, and you don't know how that card's going to be affected by events and when it's going to play. And it's just a good, solid kind of war political game that I really enjoy. Mechanically, it just really piques my interest. I've only played this once or twice, though. I got to go back and play it again, but it's so neat and nuanced. I really enjoy it. This is Washington's War. My number 46 was my number 44. My number 45, again, slipped only slightly. This is a really, really fun game that I played for the first time a couple of years ago, and it blew me away. This is a game that has a big tournament scene. I will not be playing the tournaments. I have no desire to play the tournaments, but just for casual gaming, it's awesome. It's just that it's not an easy game to teach, and it's not a game I can really play that often. It's been a while since I played it, and I'm itching to play it again because it is so much fun, but it's one you've got to really, you've got to play it with people who know it and understand it, because it's so hard to teach. This is Android Netrunner from Fantasy Flight Games. Android Netrunner is a brilliant asymmetrical game. One of you is a corporation that has all these secrets, and the other player is a hacker trying to get into this corporation and steal all these secrets. And it's a game of bluff and double bluff and triple bluff. And you're setting traps for the hacker to get in, and the hacker's got to try to get through them and try to guess what the other guy's doing. I like this game a lot because of that bluff and double bluff, there's so much kind of psychology going on here, and there's so much kind of trying to read the other guy, and I love games where you can do that, and this one does it absolutely brilliantly. Time is your currency. Actions are your currency. And then, of course, you have the credits, which are currency. It's so much fun, but it's so complex. I've played it many, many times, and to be perfectly blunt, I feel like every time I play it, I'm getting something wrong because there's so much going on there. But nevertheless, fantastically fun game. This is Android Netrunner, my number 45. It was my 42. Well, to break the theme, here's a game that actually climbed a couple of spaces. This is Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem from Gale Force 9. Now, this climbed a few spaces this year because I I had only played the 4-player game, and I recently played it again with one of the gang expansions, so we did a 5-player game, and I liked it even better. I like the competition for the spaces, the area control, the competition for the resources, and the actions. It's a worker placement game, but with area control and with combat, and it's brilliant. Now, I'll tell you right now, I was a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, the TV show. I loved it, and that's what piqued my interest in the game. Even if you are not a fan of the TV show, even if you've never seen Sons of Anarchy, the TV show, you like a good worker placement game, but you like combat and a little bit of an edge to it, I think you'll love Sons of Anarchy. It is so much fun. It's one of those games where you go, it's an IP game that kind of transcends the source material. And I love it. I love it. So if you get a chance, check out this game. Really a lot of fun. That's from Gale Force 9, Sons of Anarchy. This is my 44, was my 48. My number 43 is a game that has jumped actually considerably. And this is a game that, again, I haven't played a whole lot, but I just am enamored with it for some reason. It's a game that... it's a war game, but first of all, it deals with a subject that I'm fascinated by, a historical subject I'm fascinated by, but it's a game that is complex enough that it really draws you in, and you can really see the strategic choices happening, and you can really kind of deal with a huge complex decisions of a war game. At the same time, it's light enough that you don't feel like you're drawn into all of these, many tables that you constantly have to check this rule and that rule and that rule, and it leads to like an 8-hour game. It's a pretty light game. I think it's like a 2 to 3 hour game tops, and yet it's very, very deeply strategic. I'm talking about Mayfair Games' A House Divided. House Divided is a Civil War game that, as I say, is complex enough that it sucks you in, but not so much so that it's this big, long, complicated game. But essentially, one of you is the North, one of you is the South. You have armies. The North generally has the advantages that historically they had, and yet the South, of course, their victory conditions are not as strict. They can win kind of an economic victory, and certainly there's a military victory for both sides. But it's so good. It's just a good, medium level war game, maybe skewing to the lighter side, and I love it. I would say if you've only played games like Memoir 44 and you want to play a deeper, richer historical war game, but you're intimidated by some of these, really big, complex war games, try A House Divided from Mayfair Games. Brilliant game. Love the history and love the way the mechanics serve it. So this is A House Divided. This is 43. It was my 93. And again, that's from Mayfair Games. My number 42 slipped a little bit. This is one of the games that I played for a long, long time before I kind of had my own personal board game renaissance, or naissance as it has turned out. It was a game that I played pretty steadily for years. It and its predecessors. This is probably my favorite iteration of this world map for the game. I am talking about Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition. Axis and Allies has always been fun. As I say, I've played Axis and Allies since high school, younger than high school, junior high. I played Axis and Allies since, I was a young teenager in various incarnations, but of the world maps, the Anniversary Edition is the one I like the best. It has Italy as its own country, it's its own player, which is unique in most of the versions of Axis and Allies. It introduced some new weapons. I think it's had the artillery and the cruisers, if memory serves, or destroyers. So it kind of introduced some of these new concepts, and I really, really enjoy this game. I've always enjoyed Axis and Allies. It's a bit of a longer game, light war game, very light war game, but very fun and very intense war game. So that is Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition 42. It was my 36. That's from Hasbro Avalon Hill. My number 41 is a game that came out a couple of years ago, and it was one that I just the first time I heard about it, I had zero interest in it. I had zero interest in it because the theme just did not appeal to me really at all. And yet I heard nothing but good things about this game, and I thought, well, maybe I should just give it a try. It now sits proudly on my shelf. Thunder Alley. Thunder Alley is a great racing game. It's a racing game where you have a number of cars on a racetrack, and you play different cards, and the cards are either going to push cards in front of other cars in front of it, pull cars behind it, or push and pull. So as you are moving your cars, you're moving other players' cars as well in ways they can't predict. So this is a game that I love because even when it's not your turn, you are very invested in it. You're paying attention because what other players do are going to affect you. They're going to affect how you play the game. Brilliant racing game. It's got, I think, 4 different tracks that come with the base game. And, it's just, it's just a fun competition that really, I'd say that really serves its theme well. As I'm not a fan of the theme, I'm not a big race car guy. I don't think it. I can't really comment on that, but I feel like it's a race, and you're like, yeah, okay, where am I going? How can I move? How can I play my cards so that I don't benefit the other guys too much? And it's a lot of fun. That's from GMT Games. That is Thunder Alley. My number 41 was my 43. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my numbers 50 through 41. Please keep watching the big show here. We're going to go ahead and finish these best of, or I should say, top 100 list. Hopefully within the next few weeks. I hope you're enjoying it. I really like to hear from you what you have to say. So please leave a comment here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for viewer mail. That's right, we get sacks and sacks of letters delivered to us every single day, and we thought we'd take this time to go ahead and read to you one of these letters. So, here we go. Dear Cody, I enjoy watching your videos on YouTube. I'm also a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as a Canadian, I don't really get Captain America. Can you explain what's the big deal with Captain America? Canadian, huh? So you get the internet up there now, you Canucks, you